6 words, 1 Instagram caption, and a locker room that just learned what happens in Indiana when somebody tells the truth. Sophie Cunningham posted those 6 words Monday night, a few hours after Caitlin Clark buried Washington with 1.2 seconds left. Caitlin's reply was 3 words, "Love you, Soph." And by Wednesday morning, Sophie's story had completely changed. Not softened, changed. The Monday version and the Wednesday version can't both be true. And tomorrow night, Stephanie White walks back into Gainbridge Fieldhouse to face Chicago with both of those versions hanging over her bench. Check the clock on this one. Monday night, the caption goes up. Tuesday, the internet catches fire. Wednesday, before most of Indiana had finished breakfast, the truth was gone. Start with the 4.3 seconds because everything else grows out of them. Monday in Washington, Fever down 1. Timeout, final possession, season sitting at 5-5 with the whole league whispering about this team. Stephanie White calls the timeout, and the last play of the night gets drawn up. By her own account, her assistant Austin Kelly did the drawing. Austin drew up the play, she told reporters afterward. Austin does a lot of our end-of-game stuff. Hold on to that detail. It matters later, because whoever held the marker, the huddle was hers, the timeout was hers, and the call was hers. And here's what her own locker room told us about that play. Her player, Lexie Hull, standing at the podium afterward, on the record. "We were trying to draw a foul there." Read that again. With the game on the line, the design wasn't a clean look for the best deep shooter alive. It was a foul hunt. Then the ball got inbounded, and the plan died. Sophie Cunningham looked off the first option. She saw 22 drifting out behind the line, way out, and she fired a cross-court pass that one outlet noted was very nearly picked off. It wasn't. Caitlin Clark caught it, rose up from 31 feet, and dropped it through with 1.2 on the clock. 78-76. Ball game, 19 points, 4 threes, 5 assists, and the 2 free throws she'd missed 36 seconds earlier, erased from the conversation in a single motion. Caitlin's own read on that shot, in her own words afterward, she called it the best look I had all night. Sit with that for a second. The best look the most dangerous shooter in this league saw all evening didn't come from anything drawn on a whiteboard. 40 minutes of designed offense never got her a look that clean. 4 seconds of a teammate ignoring the script did. That's the part Fever fans have memorized by now. Here's the part that matters more. Lexie Hull finished her answer at that podium. She made a read. Sophie was able to deliver a perfect pass to her. She knocked it down when it mattered. I can't say that's exactly what we drew up, but it worked. So we'll take it any day of the week. Honest, generous, and devastating. Because in one breath, a Fever player confirmed that the winning play came from the players, not the clipboard. Now hold Hull's sentence in one hand and listen to what her head coach said the same night. Asked if that's how they planned it, Stephanie White answered, word for word, "It was what he drew up. We executed it perfectly." Executed perfectly. Her own player, the same evening. "I can't say that's exactly what we drew up." 2 answers, 1 locker room, the same 4 seconds. They don't match. And nobody made them match before everybody went home. Then White moved on to Caitlin, and she praised. Sometimes we take great players, and certainly generational talent, for granted. She's going to have many more moments like that. She called the noise around Caitlin permanent. This is what Caitlin does. She makes big shots. Notice what's missing from that answer. Any acknowledgement that the shot wasn't the plan. Which brings us to the caption. A few hours after the buzzer, Sophie Cunningham posted a photo dump from the win. 12 images. 11 of them were exactly what you'd expect. The 12th was a doctored picture of Stephanie White talking to Sophie and Caitlin on the sideline, and under it, Sophie wrote 6 words. Didn't follow the plan? Won anyway. Caitlin Clark didn't scroll past it. She replied publicly, where every Fever fan could see it. "Love you, Soph," the franchise player co-signing the player who broke the plan to find her. For one night, the message out of that locker room was completely unguarded. We trusted each other more than we trusted the design, and it saved the season's pulse. And here's the part that should make every Fever fan lean in. The building noticed. By Tuesday, this wasn't a meme anymore. It was a referendum. Yahoo ran a headline with the words, quote, "Coach has lost the locker room." Michael Thompson, on a broadcast this week, said he'd never seen anything like Indiana's setup in any sport, comparing it, per Yahoo, to taking the serve away from Serena Williams. And remember the season this lands in. 2 weeks ago, it was the Portland sideline blow-up. White barking from her chair, Caitlin's hands in the air, a teammate waved into her seat. Caitlin spent days putting that out herself. I ride for Steph. Steph has my back more than anybody. Sophie went on her own podcast to hose it down too. Her and Steph are fine, she said. The media, in her words, loves to create division. The cleanup crew on this roster has been working overtime since May. Even with A'ja Wilson breaking scoring records out west this same week, the league couldn't look away from Indiana. So the franchise had 36 hours to let Monday night just be a great story. A team that loves its star, a pass that found her, a shot that landed. Instead, Wednesday morning happened. 7:30 in the morning Indiana time. Sophie Cunningham posts again, this time on X. Word for word, "You guys read too much into things. That's the exact play our coach drew up, and we executed it perfectly." Sit with that sentence next to the other one. Monday, on the record, inside the arena. I can't say that's exactly what we drew up. Wednesday, online, after 2 days of fire. That's the exact play our coach drew up. Exact. Capital letters. Executed perfectly. One of those statements describes what happened in Washington. The other one describes what somebody needed Wednesday to look like. They cannot both be true. And nobody in that organization has explained the gap. And look closer at the wording, because this is the detail nobody's caught. We executed it perfectly. That is not Sophie's phrase. That is Stephanie White's phrase, from Monday's podium, almost to the letter. Wednesday's post doesn't just reverse Sophie's story. It speaks in the coach's voice, and it hands the play to our coach, a play the coach herself, on Monday, credited to her assistant. I'm not going to tell you who asked for the Wednesday version because nobody's proven that, and this channel doesn't guess. What I can tell you is what's sitting in plain sight. The player who wrote, "didn't follow the plan," is the same player now insisting the plan was followed to the letter. Her teammate's podium answer contradicts the new version. The clip of the possession contradicts the new version. And across every Fever comment thread since breakfast, fans keep typing some version of the same question. Who got to her? That's their question. I'm just reading it. Because the pattern this season is hard to unsee. Every single time something true slips out of that locker room. A sideline clip, a frustrated star, a 6-word caption. It gets followed, within days, by a smooth, rehearsed, everything's fine version. The truth comes out at night. The correction comes out in the morning. And the person every correction protects is the coach who watched the design get ignored, watched her own player say so on the record, and called it perfect execution anyway. That's the season-long thread here, and it didn't start Monday. Stephanie White has spent 2 months running an offense that keeps the best shooter in basketball waiting for the ball. She's admitted herself, earlier this month, that getting Caitlin free has been a struggle. Monday was the first time we got to watch what happens when the players simply stop waiting. Down 1, 4 seconds, no margin left. They took the wheel. Sophie skipped the read. Caitlin made herself the answer. The play that saved this team's season is the one play this coaching staff didn't design. A fan can forgive a bad scheme. What's harder to forgive is the morning after, when the proof gets rewritten. Which makes tomorrow night the cleanest test this team will get. Thursday, 7 o'clock Eastern, Chicago Sky at Gainbridge Fieldhouse. Home crowd, national eyeballs, Aaliyah Boston coming off a 14-10 night, and every camera in the building waiting for one thing: the last 5 minutes. Because down the stretch, tie game, one-possession game, that's when a coaching staff shows you who it actually trusts. No matter what anybody posted on a Wednesday morning. If the offense suddenly lives in Caitlin Clark's hands when it matters, you'll know Monday changed something real. Whatever Wednesday's post claims. And if the ball goes hunting fouls again with the game on the line, then the Wednesday version wasn't a clarification. It was a promise that nothing's changing. One more thing before Thursday. Don't let anyone reframe what Monday was. It wasn't chaos. It wasn't a player going off script for herself. It was a veteran looking at the most watched player in the sport, ignoring the clipboard and trusting her with everything. It worked. They celebrated it. The franchise player wrote "Love you" under it. Whatever pressure built between that caption and Wednesday's sunrise, the tape from Washington still exists. They can change the caption. They can't change the pass. So you tell me, whose version of Monday night do you believe? The one from the podium or the one that showed up Wednesday morning? Drop it in the comments. And keep your eyes on the last 5 minutes tomorrow night. The answer's coming either way.